Well, good day to you. Welcome. Welcome again into 1017 FM and 710 Keel. Welcome into another edition of Strategies for Living. I'm marriage and family therapist David McMillan, and way down yonder at the other end of the broadcast table, there she is. We call her Sparky. PLPC Carla McCormick.
That's my new nickname. So since Ruben had a nickname, I wanted a nickname too.
You wanted your very own nickname. Well,
Sparky. It's short for Sparkles.
well, and so here he is, the ace of the airwaves.
You can call me Ace.
Yeah, just call him Ace. He is Rapid Ruben Wright.
Good evening, everybody.
How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm excellent today.
So, how are you guys at exercising? You know?
I've been working on it.
Yeah, yeah.
I can walk 3 miles.
Well,
do some free weights.
We're going to exercise in a different way today. We are going to exercise the soul.
Ooh.
Yeah, isn't that neat? Dr. Bernie Siegel has been a guest on this program many times. I'll tell a Bernie story or two before the end of this. He's got a fantastic little book out called 101 Exercises for the Soul. And I thought we'd share some of those today here on Strategies.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, so folks, thank you. Thank you for tuning in to Strategies for Living. And we are presented by CADA, the Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse of Northwest Louisiana. Been helping individuals and families now for 60 years. We're also brought to you by Milestones Counseling Center here in Shreveport, by Jerry Anderson State Farm Insurance, by Learning RX, by Highland Place Rehab and Nursing Center, by Resilient House, by Jacob's Well, Inspirational Books and Gifts. We will be back to exercise Carla's soul.
Sounds painful.
Yeah, well, we'll try to make it as painless as we can, okay?
Okay.
Because I'm a soul man.
Oh, jeez. I guess I know what's coming next.
Mm-hmm. If we're talking addiction prevention, education, and treatment in Shreveport-Bossier for 60 years, we're talking about CADA. Let's talk about addiction. Let's talk about treatment. Let's talk about getting your life back. The Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse, CADA, has been helping individuals and families in Shreveport and Bossier City for 60 years now. CADA provides intensive residential treatment as well as outpatient services too. CADA treats women with children, pregnant women, adolescents, veterans. CADA has helped thousands and thousands of people in North Louisiana from just about every race and ethnic background, every socioeconomic level, across every class line. CADA has helped single mothers, attorneys, teachers, nurses, doctors, construction workers, musicians, you name it. Life is better on the other side of recovery. Call 222-8511 or www.cadanwla.org.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katie Beach with Shreveport Bossier Family Dental Care. We are excited to announce we will now be providing Invisalign treatments at our office. Call the office today to get an appointment with me, a trained Invisalign provider that can treat a wide range of teeth straightening cases. Give us a call at 686-7470 and get started today.
The precise and comfortable statement refers to the predictability and comfort of Invisalign clear aligners versus other aligners made of off-the-shelf .30-inch material. Please note that, like most medical devices, Invisalign clear aligners require a prescription. In rare cases, an allergic reaction may occur.
Hey, this is Dalton Gould of Louisiana Power Sports and RV. Our spring sales event is in full swing with huge rebates up to $3,000 on selected Polaris units and incredible prices. Like a 2017 Polaris RZR 570 Trail Model, $89.99. A 2018 Ranger Midsize 570, perfect for the farm, fixing fences, or hauling in that big buck, just $94.67 at Louisiana Power Sports and RV.
3715 Benton Road in Bossier City and LA Power Sports RV.com.
Louisiana Power Sports, get ready to ride.
ATVs can be hazardous. Adult models for riders 16 and over. Wear a helmet. Take a training course. Rangers, not for on-road use.
I've been down, cascading in blue without a sound. Now I've traded my black.
Welcome back to 1017 FM and 710 Keel. Welcome back into Strategies for Living, PLPC. Carla McCormick, marriage and family therapist David McMillan here on Strategies for Living. Thank you for joining us. You know, most of us do know how important it is to exercise our bodies, but how often do we think about how important it is to exercise our souls?
I guess I don't know what you mean by exercising the soul.
Well, let's jump into 101 exercises for the soul. We're going to skip around a little bit. This is a book from Dr. Bernie Siegel, who's been a life strategist here many times here on Strategies for Living through the years. He's written such books as Love, Medicine, and Miracles, Help Me Heal, How to Live Between Office Visits. Bernie Siegel's one of my very favorite people in the whole wide world.
Cool.
Yeah. So I think you'll get the idea here. First chapter, right out of the box, is named Attitude is Everything. And he says, you remember the guy that wrote Don't Sweat the Small Stuff?
Yes.
So Bernie says, don't sweat the small or the large stuff and save on the cost of deodorant.
Is that like it's all small stuff?
Yeah, it's all stuff. Yeah, it's all stuff. So his coaching tip number one, maintain a positive attitude no matter what your circumstances. Maintaining that positive attitude increases the likelihood of your finding future happiness and fulfillment. Why is that true? Well, if your attitude is negative and your mind is filled with worry and fear, it's going to take its toll. It's going to take its toll on your mind and your body and your spirit. And in fact, by spending all your time creating a vision of an unhappy future, you actually help create that future. That makes sense, doesn't it?
Does my attitude change my mind, or does my mind change my attitude?
So chicken and the egg, huh?
I think my mind changes my attitude.
Yeah. Well, here's exercise number one.
Okay.
So, and he calls it a gratitude list. So, why are you living life? Do you ever stop to think about it? Or are you too busy complaining and whining? Gratitude, he says, is one of the best ways to improve your attitude and feel better. You can't be troubled and grateful at the same time. So this exercise can be repeated often, and it'll always obtain, he promises, the same results. Get a pen and paper, sit down in a quiet place where you won't be interrupted. Start by making a list of at least 20 things that you're grateful for in life. And you might start with the basic necessities like we have a roof over our head. I have a chair to sit in. I have food to eat. I've got a warm bed tonight. So on. Then continue with the more meaningful and personal areas of your life, such as your friends, your family, your work, your pet or pets, and your health. And when you finish, display the list where you'll see it often, especially when troubling thoughts start surfacing. And keep adding to your list over the next several weeks, and take the time every day to read it, to remind yourself of all the things in your life that you're grateful for. Isn't that kind of neat?
Well, gratitude lists work.
Yeah, yeah.
If I'm looking for the good in life and looking for the good things, I will see them.
Yeah, yeah.
It's that self-fulfilling prophecy.
So, exercise number 4 is kind of related to this. It's titled The Greatest Teacher. Recently at a teacher's conference, I asked the audience to tell me who or what they thought was their greatest teacher. And there were a lot of answers. Some of the most poignant were pain and loss. My answer is death. I refuse to let other people and circumstances impose on my joy, because I know, as we all should, that I have a limited time to live. I live knowing that for all of us, time on earth is limited. If I hurt others, I make amends, apologize, and move on. If I'm feeling fearful, I consider doing what I'm afraid of. And if it does not put my life or my health at risk, I take a chance. Our little dog, Furphy, greets dogs 10 times his size with a friendly attitude and no fear. He makes many friends, and I'm learning from him. Pet training books tell us about the importance of attitude. If you approach another dog with an attitude of fear, your dog will become fearful, as well as making conflict more likely. Our attitudes can be detected by those around us, and they affect our inner chemistry as well as the way others treat us. As an exercise, pretend that the day in front of you is the last day of your life. Savor every moment, even the most mundane. Make the most of every situation. If every day you practice meeting life and people in it with a positive attitude, then you'll be greeted by others with a wagging tail instead of a growl and bared teeth.
True that.
Kind of neat, isn't it?
I mean,
yeah. I noticed today when I got out of my car, Reuben was out front, and I noticed his little tail wagging when I got,
he was happy to see you.
He was just happy to see me.
Excellent.
Yeah. So, absolutely refuse to have a bad attitude. What do you think of my friend Bernie so far?
I think none of this is things we haven't heard before. I mean, gratitude lists are kind of all the rage when Oprah was doing them, and I think that they work. But I think more than just the list is being aware of what your thoughts are. You know, are you ruminating about the past and what if and I shoulda and are you worrying about the future? Or are you staying in today? And part of staying in today is your gratitudes, and I think they help keep you mindful. And I also think it takes practice.
Yeah.
I think you have to pay attention to where your thoughts are going, and when you catch them going off in one direction or the other, then reading the list.
Having some of these grounding exercises kind of brings you back.
Well, because if you look at it like exercise, think about it. If you go to the gym and you start doing bicep curls, in the beginning your arm's going to be really sore. You won't be able to do much weight.
I'm sore just listening to you talk about it.
And, if we think of our mind the same way, if I'm beginning to be mindful, if I'm beginning to be present, and if I'm beginning to try to have a positive attitude, it's going to take a lot of practice and it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
But eventually, as that part of my brain grows, which we know it does because the science tells us that, it will become easier and easier and easier, and it won't be such a struggle.
Here's another exercise. I like this one. Admire your baby picture. Your divine inner child, he calls this. Fear of failure keeps people from living fully and achieving their greatest potential. This fear does not come from your divine inner child, but is learned from those around us. As you grew up, certain authority figures, perhaps your parents, teachers, religious leaders, or others, may have made you feel that when something went wrong, you were to blame. Rather than address and correct your behavior, they made you feel guilty and shameful for who you were. They were wrong. You can prove this to yourself quite easily. Find one of your baby pictures and a recent picture of yourself. Take some time and look at both photos. Notice your attitudes towards them. Most likely, your baby picture will elicit feelings of joy, and any feelings of shame will attach themselves to your adult photo. But what besides time is the difference between these two? Carry your baby photo around with you or display it where you work, and use it as a reminder anytime someone in your life brings up feelings of shame. You can also take the experiment further, and the next time you see a person in your life who makes you feel bad about yourself, share your baby picture with that person. Notice
how cute I was.
Notice his or her reaction. Most likely, it will be one of adoration, caring, comments, and some oohing and eyeing. And how does this compare to the way the person greets you most of the time? You still contain within you the divine potential of a child. Others may fail to see it in the adult you that you've become, but it's there. Don't let a fearful attitude or the opinion of others stop you. Approach life like a child. Take the first step. Learn to walk. If you don't try, you won't succeed. If you stumble or fall, like the child, rise and try again.
That's pretty cool. Well, they do something similar with kids who have been through trauma that are now adults. You know, going back and finding a picture of your 12-year-old self when the trauma happened.
Yeah.
And realizing how young and innocent you were.
Yeah.
And maybe in some cases reparenting that kid and going back and giving 12-year-old, little Annie what she didn't get what she should have gotten.
Yeah.
So, it's a different take on that. But I mean, old photos like that can be powerful. They can evoke a lot of memories.
They really can.
Especially happy ones.
Yeah.
You remember, like when you go, oh, yeah, I remember that birthday party?
Yeah.
That was the best one ever.
Yeah. So, okay, we're going to take a break. When we come back, you may not like this category.
Oh, geez.
Quite as much as you like the first one. But I think it's important. I think it's an important category. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about pain is necessary. It's life's unwanted gift, and you're not what you lose.
Am I
Easy for you to say.
Am I my mistakes?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when Strategies comes back.
If you or someone you love is struggling to pay attention,
Broadmoor Shopping Center. And welcome back. Welcome back into Strategies for Living, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Marriage and family therapist David McMillan, PLPC, Carla McCormick, and Rapid Ruben Wright, or should we say Rooster?
Either one. Either one works.
I like
Ace,
Rooster.
I have a lot of nicknames.
Rooster.
Most of them I can't repeat on the air. But
So, Rooster, we're up and running now on Facebook?
we are. We are on Facebook. We are live right now. They are looking directly at your face.
Oh, all right.
Wave.
What does my hair look like?
It looks
yeah.
good.
Yeah, I hope so. Hey, jump out there and like us on Facebook. Strategies for Living is where you're going to. Like our Facebook page and spread the word, because each and every day we're live streaming on Facebook, and you're working on getting the YouTube channel
we're
up
gonna get
and
the YouTube
running.
up and running, and all that stuff. We are going to be hardwired online.
I like it. I like it. So begin to spread the word, folks. Lots of different ways to listen to Strategies for Living. All right, so we're talking some exercises for the soul today. We think about exercising the body, but how many times do we think about exercising the soul? We're stealing some of Dr. Bernie Siegel's excellent exercises for the soul in his little book, 101 Exercises for the Soul, Simple Practices for a Healthy Body, Mind, and Spirit. One of the chapters is titled, Pain is Necessary. It's life's unwanted gift. You're not what you lose. So he begins this by quoting Dennis Holey. Suffering forces us to change. We don't like change, and most of the time we fear it and fight it. We like to remain in emotionally familiar places, even though sometimes those places are not healthy for us. On occasion, the suffering is so great that we have to give up. We surrender the old and begin anew. Often, it is the pain we experience that leads us not only to a different life, but a richer and more rewarding one. So, I think this is a real necessary area.
So is he saying the pain makes you move?
Pain makes you move. You know, it's certainly not pleasant when we're in it, but we've got to remember that. Like Scott Peck opened the road less traveled. Life is difficult, and this is a great truth, one of the greatest truths, and most of us fight against it. But when we accept it, it's like we transcend it. So how do we exercise out of that? Let's try this one. Here's exercise 46, and it's start a treasure chest. Yeah. So as we grow and encounter life's problems and brokenness, as we come to realize that, to quote one of our sons on a bad day, life sucks. Most of us need help finding our way. Perhaps as we grew up, we weren't given the necessary tools, or we weren't trained well how to use them. With this exercise, you will identify and gather up the tools you need, so you'll always have them at hand. Think about the things that you need to find your way in life right now. What tools would help? A material, physical tools can be useful, but they're not the only answer. Even the best mechanical tools break. What emotional and spiritual tools can you have faith in and rely on? These may include a relative, a friend, prayer, or inner strength. For everyone, self-acceptance and the knowledge that you are of divine origin are essential. These spiritual tools will always be there to sustain and support you. Now, write down your list of resource tools on slips of paper. Take a small box, label it your treasure chest, and place those slips in it for safekeeping. In times of distress or trouble, open your treasure chest and take out the tools you need. place your treasure chest where you'll see it every day. Then, anytime you need help getting through a day, you can pull out a slip of paper to remind you of the resources you've always had available.
I have a great idea for a business. We need to make emotional fortune cookies.
Emotional fortune cookies.
Yeah, so like you know,
Okay.
you can do the same thing like with the treasure chest, but we're gonna make fortune cookies.
I like it.
So you know, I am strong. I am smart.
Do we have a baker listening that'll?
then you get a cookie.
And you get a cookie. And
yeah, and you get to eat it too.
I was, I couldn't help thinking as we were talking about that. We got some sad news last week that, and you knew it was inevitable. We're going to lose both of our Sears stores here.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And I remember as a little boy how many times I got drug into Sears, and I remember the Sears. Sears on St. Vincent's Avenue was there before Mall St. Vincent was there. Yeah, and Mall St. Vincent just kind of hooked on to the Sears as to be one of its anchors. But through the years, how many Craftsman tools, have I gone and bought? I guess it's still the same way today. But if you bought, like a set of screwdrivers, and they ever broke, you just took them back and they gave you a new set.
Lifetime warranty.
Yeah.
Still is.
Yeah. So I don't know. Craftsman, Sears sold off the Craftsman brand, and now I understand that Craftsman tools are available that can be bought at Lowe's. Yeah. So the Craftsman will still be around, but Sears won't be around.
I don't know where I'm going to go buy my new washing machine because I always bought appliances at
well,
Sears.
that was another thing that came out right before the news that we were going to lose our Sears stores here. It came out that they had already sold Craftsman tools and they were looking to sell the Kenmore brand. And so that's probably next. You'll probably have who knows, they may end up at Lowe's or Home Depot or one of those two, but
so
anyway.
what about the reading? It reminded you of Sears.
Tools, just the idea of tools. I thought of Craftsman, and it's crazy the way the crazy mind connects. So here's another one. It's look back. He calls this light from the dark. Charcoal under pressure becomes a diamond. How many diamonds are buried in your life just waiting to be uncovered? We must learn to see life's difficulties as blessings that help us become more complete human beings. Most of us, out of fear, avoid looking at the dark moments of our lives. Rather than experience the pain, we choose numbness. Yet, our difficulties and how we respond to them are what define us. For this exercise, look back at your life and identify 3 of your most difficult moments. Then, for each, identify something good that occurred afterward that would not have happened had the undesired event never occurred. Life is full of redirections. The key is living in the moment and experiencing events, but not letting them affect your outlook and attitude in a way that destroys your future. Keep an open mind and watch what occurs. When my father was 12 years old, his father died. It was a disaster for his family. But later in life, my father called it one of the best things that ever happened to him because it taught him how to survive, to be kind and helpful to others, and to recognize what was truly valuable in life. As you review the undesired events in your life, make sure to write down your thoughts and feelings and to list all the unexpectedly positive outcomes. These are your diamonds. Or, to use another metaphor, these are the new plants and opportunities that grew out of the ashes and compost of your life. Teach your children friends, and associates to keep their minds open to the future and not to become lost in the events that trouble them. They will be forever grateful to you for the lesson you teach. If you choose to let them, our negative experiences can become our best teachers. Isn't that neat?
So we should be the phoenix rising from the ashes.
Yeah, again, I'm recalling the road less traveled, and Scott Peck's idea that we need to be teaching our children how to grieve, because one of the points that he makes in the road less traveled fairly early is that from birth to death, life is a series of things that we have to give up.
Right.
And that grief is the way we get okay with those things that we have to give up. And then he says, but we don't teach our children how to grieve. And he goes and he lists, if we live a fairly normal life, how many things in life we have to give up. We have to give up being in the womb. We have to give up being 2 and 3, where for most of us the world revolves around us because we're so cute little Reuben and cute little Carla, and then we grow and we're not cute anymore. That, at least not, not you two are still cute, but not the way you were at 2 and 3, and then we have to give up being a teenager, where if you dream it, you can do it. You've got to give up being invulnerable. Remember how invulnerable you felt when you were a teen? You've got to give up the sexual potency of your 20s. You begin to give up some physical agility in your 30s and 40s. Ultimately, you have to give up life itself. Mm-hmm. So from birth to death, life is a series of things that we have to give up. Do we embrace that, or do we try to run away from it and deny its existence?
We run, hide, and deny.
Yeah. So, again, pain is one of our very best teachers. I want to tell a Bernie Siegel story that he told on this very radio show when we come back. It's not in 101 Exercises for the Soul, but it kind of relates in a way to what we're talking about here. Bernie told me that he never, ever, back when he was practicing medicine, he would never, ever tell someone, you have X amount of time to live. And he was an instructor of doctors, and he insisted that they not say that too. And he illustrated a story. He told the story of a man named John on this very radio program, and it really illustrates the point. So we'll tell that when we come back.
Cool. I like those stories.
101 Exercises for the Soul is the little book by Bernie Siegel. We're exercising our souls today here on Strategies. More to come. There are heart.
I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me.
Deep, 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 deep. I like that song. You do good, Ruben, right?
I do my best.
Yeah, you do.
What's that, the 70s?
Sure.
That's B.J. Thomas. It's
Yeah,
Hooked
that
on a
is
Feeling.
B.J.
Yeah.
I know, but
Yeah. Yeah, of
I
course
like
it's
the-
the 70s. What? Well, of course.
I like the Commander Cody and Lost Planet Airmen version
Oh,
better
yeah,
with the
yeah.
Ooga Chakas.
Ooga
in it.
Chaka, Ooga Chaka, yeah.
But this one's good.
Are you sure that was Commander Cody?
I might be wrong on that.
Yeah, I think you are. I look that up. I think that is Ooga Chaka begins with the group begins with an M, but it's not Commander Cody.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna
Get back
look it
to
up
me
again.
on that. Google that and get back to me on that. Well, welcome back. 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. We are exercising the soul this evening. Of course, we were exercising
I know.
our 70s.
I work with a couple of radio nerds.
Yeah, well, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Hey, so I have a question. You're talking about the past, and you were talking about pain.
Yeah.
Are you one of those people who says, I have no regrets and I wouldn't change a thing about my past?
I don't think I would. No, I don't think I have any regrets at all about my past. Mm-mm. Now, there's some some people may line up to disagree with me, but I'll let them have their say if they want. But no, I don't. Mm-mm.
God, you see,
No.
I know, and people say that, and it always baffles me because I do. I mean, there are things that I would change. There are things I would do differently.
There are
And yet-
things this week that I would go back and change if I could.
Okay, but guys, okay, well, wait now. Oh, put the therapist hat on. Would both of you, whether this week or whether 30 years ago, would you be sitting here right now if those things changed? Could you guarantee that your life would have gone in the trajectory that it's gone if the things that have happened to you hadn't happened?
Well, probably not, but maybe I would be sitting somewhere better.
Maybe. Or maybe you'd be sitting somewhere worse.
I mean, maybe I'd be, on NPR or something. Who knows?
Is that better?
I mean, the point being is, I get what you're saying. We are here. But I just don't know how you look back on your life and have grown and have changed and have matured and not go, God, I regret making that decision. I regret hurting that person. I regret, being selfish at this point in my life.
Well, you didn't ask me. I don't think you asked me if I had. You said, would you change anything?
And I asked you if you had regrets.
Okay,
So
well-
you wouldn't change anything, but you do have regrets.
Oh, well, yeah. Who couldn't have regret? I mean, who wouldn't say, okay, well, my regrets have to do with anybody that I may have hurt.
Right, your behavior.
Any behaviors that might have hurt somebody, knowingly or unknowingly.
Right.
Yeah, that certainly. But would I change anything? I think in every case, I made the best decision that I could with the information that I had at the time.
Well, and that is the truth, and that's what
Yeah.
that's what we talk to clients about, and and I also can't go back and judge my 17-year-old self with my 50-year-old brain. I mean,
Yeah.
I have changed and I have grown, but people do that all the time.
Yeah.
They're harsh and they're hard on themselves, forgetting that they're not the same person that they were when they were 25 or 30 and made those mistakes. So.
We're exercising the soul today on strategies and
My brain hurts.
101 Exercises for the Soul out from New World Library by Dr. Bernie Siegel. We're sharing some of his ideas from 101 Exercises for the Soul. This story is not in the book because Bernie told it on this radio show to me several years ago. He told the story.
That was BC, folks.
BC,
That'd be
yeah.
before Carla.
Yeah, before Carla. He told the story about a man named John back when he was practicing medicine. And Bernie was an internal medicine doctor. He was a surgeon. And so he worked with some pretty severe diagnosis. And He tells the story about a guy named John that came in to see him one day for a consult. John was having some severe stomach problems. And the bigger context within which this is being told is that Bernie says, you know, don't ever, he said, I teach doctors in med school, don't ever tell somebody, don't play God, don't ever tell somebody you have 6 months to live. You
Don't
have
give them an expiration
you have
date.
a year to live. Yeah, no expiration dates. Okay, so he tells the story of John. John comes to see him, and Bernie does the workup, the medical workup. John has a rather extreme, aggressive form of cancer in his stomach area. So Bernie goes in to present his findings to him after all the medical test, lays it out, and says, here's our options. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what I'm recommending. I recommend we begin treatment right away. John says, I don't have time. Bernie says, you don't have time. No, he said, it was, Bernie explained it was springtime. And John explained, or early February, late February, somewhere it was approaching springtime. John was he was a gardener, he was a landscaper, and he said, I have to go make the world beautiful for everybody. I don't have time right now to be sick. I'll come back after, I get my planning done. So Bernie thinks to himself, well, you won't be back because this is an aggressive cancer, but he wished him well. He stuck to his idea of, don't give an expiration date. Mm-hmm. He wished John well and sent him on his way, knowing that he would never see John again.
Right.
Fast forward several months. Bernie goes to his treatment room, pulls out the file before he goes in, as doctors do.
Right.
Pulled out the file to see who's in the room. He never walked in the room. He takes the file, throws it up on the nurse's station, and says, this is a mistake. Says, that guy's not in the room. The nurse said, yes, sir. He's in the room. Bernie looks again at the file, says, guy can't be in the room. Nurse says, he's in the room. Bernie goes in and meets John, and John says, I told you I'd be back. And he said, I've made another springtime. I made the world beautiful for a lot of people, and now I've got time to listen to you. So let's plan our treatment.
Wow.
Bernie retested him. No cancer. John was cancer-free. John, and I asked Bernie, I said, you still following John? Now Bernie had, at the time he told this story, he had retired from practice. He was just writing books. And he said, well, I did follow. He said, John has passed away now. He said, but he lived on into his 80s. And he didn't die from cancer. John lived a long life. He said, we retested him. There wasn't any stomach cancer. And he said, I went back and reviewed all the past findings. There were multiple tests. It couldn't have been a medical mistake. John had cancer when he saw me before, and he said, I can't explain it. But when John came back from making the world beautiful, he had no cancer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Power of the mind or
could well be
the divinity.
Yeah. Well, you take your pick. In any case, it was certainly an exercise for the soul, wasn't it?
It's an exercise for my soul right
yeah.
now.
Yeah. We're talking soul exercises today here on Strategies. We'll be back. More to come.
A man walks down the street, he says, why am I soft in the middle now? Why am I soft in the middle? The rest of my life is so
If we're talking four three one Resilient House.
Blue skies smiling at me.
Nothing but blue skies do I see. How you like that?
It's very good, David Whitley.
1017 FM and 710 KEEL. Why didn't you come to my rescue?
I'm sorry about that.
Anytime I sing, you're supposed to come
do backup.
Yeah,
but I was remembering that "Hooked on a Feeling," that version was Blue Suede, not Lost Planet Airmen.
That's it. Yes. See, there you go. There's the
blue skies is what reminded me.
Okay, all right. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. We are exercising. Don't call us nerds. We're exercising the soul today. Do you want a little emotional 911 that I think you'll like?
I think I might need some.
Yeah. So occasionally, you just need something. Okay. So his exercise, Bernie Siegel's exercise number 81, is it's called Chocolate Buzz, or stimulate your endorphins. If you're feeling low, a great way to lift your mood is to eat chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
I always recommend eating chocolate ice cream for a pick-me-up. It makes you feel loved and happy. Chocolate's a great cure for everyday blues. So, for this exercise, just keep a bag of dark chocolates around, or a tub of chocolate ice cream. Or anytime you're feeling low, as though you need some TLC, have some chocolate. Believe it or not, if not overdone, chocolate is good for you, physically and emotionally. The doctor is saying this.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Will I be able to eat my chocolate and Or will it make me too big for my jeans?
You may get too big for
have
your
your
jeans.
ice cream and eat it too, and then you'll be too big for your britches.
There you go. Thanks, Rube.
What most people don't realize is that chocolate ice cream comes in many shapes and sizes in our lives. Ask yourself what your life's chocolate ice cream is, and the answer will help you discover where your life should be going and what you should be doing with your time.
Ooh, that's so deep.
Isn't that neat? Yeah.
What's your chocolate ice cream, David?
Oh, you and Reuben. this radio program every day. Yeah. Let's close with this one. Listen to music. We all make music during our daily life. Stop and listen, and you'll realize sound surrounds us all the time. Rather than adding distraction to your life by watching TV or listening to the news, use music to bring focus and deepen your emotions. Music also helps you to learn. I play it in the operating room to help both patients and staff. Plus, I know for a fact that not watching the news will make you healthier and allow you to sleep better. For this exercise, try listening to different types of music. Find what type of music creates a feeling of peace and well-being for you. When you're in a stressful situation, play this music, such as in the car while driving. When you want to relax, turn on this music instead of the TV. Listen to the music of your soul and heal. That's why they call it soul music. It carries a message. Find harmony through the music you love and let it carry you through the day. Isn't that great?
That's great.
That is good.
And don't overdo the music either, because you'll turn into a radio nerd, according to Carla.
Yeah, according to Carla. Well, we're going to bring her a box of chocolates
I would
tomorrow.
life is a box of
A
chocolates.
box of chocolates, yeah. Folks, thank you for tuning in to Strategies for Living. Carla, you've done it again. Reuben, you've done it again. Folks, thank you. We've been presented by CADA, the Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse of Northwest Louisiana, and by Jerry Anderson State Farm, by Learning RX, by Milestones Counseling, by Highland Place, and by Jacob's Well. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call to make, who would you call? What would you say? Why are you waiting? Make the call. For Carla and Reuben, I'm David. See you next time here on Strategies.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.